Yeah.
And this is a cooking show that I'm sharing with my mother. And it's probably one of my favorite projects that I've put out since the Braxtons.
That when you put everything you have into other people and they disappoint you.
I'm very disappointed at y'all.
Why? What happened?
Where's the food?
Right,
I thought y'all was coming there. I came hungry.
Always go to Alfredo.
Yes.
Homemade Alfredo.
It's the best.
Or some type of salmon and spinach.
This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it.
I think it does, and I think it's nasty.
Wait a minute, I'm not doing this.
I think it's nasty.
No, parsley does not
Do a
have
place
flavor.
where
Just
you
like
look happy. Like you look very
Really?
happy. You know?
Oh, I mean, I am happy. I
Okay.
feel like I'm always happy. Flavor, just like paprika is for decoration.
He's the greatest Christian that God ever created, but you're still human first.
Is that why she's your favorite daughter?
I never said
What's that
I'm definitely not her favorite.
Hold everything, because you've just stumbled on an inside look at the Braxton family feud that could obliterate one of entertainment's most famous dynasties. Tamar Braxton is making power plays so daring, they might rewrite the entire family legacy, leaving Toni Braxton scrambling to pick up the pieces. If you thought their previous conflicts were intense, brace yourself. This showdown goes far beyond petty disagreements. It's about big money, massive influence, and the unstoppable force of personal ambition colliding with family loyalty. By the time you reach the end of this deep dive, you'll see exactly why this isn't just another celebrity spat. It's a cautionary tale about how success can unite, then tear apart, people who share the same last name. If you're a Braxton fan or just love a good behind-the-scenes drama, prepare for legal bombshells, hush-hush clauses, and unstoppable personal drives that put the entire Braxton brand at risk of imploding. Welcome to the Braxton scandal update that has everyone talking. Let's jump in. Before diving into the blow-by-blow details, let's ask, why does this Braxton saga matter beyond mere entertainment? We're dealing with a multi-million-dollar brand built on hits, awards, and a devoted fan base. When family ties rupture, entire businesses, from music deals to reality shows, can vanish overnight. This feud highlights the universal conflict of wanting more control over your life and career while still honoring shared roots. Think about how many families break apart when money and power come into play. The Braxtons hold sway in music, television, and endorsement deals. If their brand collapses, it sends shockwaves through the entertainment sphere, affecting sponsors, record labels, and even other celebrity families thinking about joint ventures. In short, the Braxtons aren't just a family. They're a case study on how quickly trust can disintegrate when people start fighting for bigger pieces of a lucrative pie. If you've ever wondered what really happens behind the scenes of a famous family empire, buckle up. This story is your backstage pass. Rewind to when Toni Braxton exploded onto the music scene. Her soulful hits and Grammy wins placed her among the top R&B artists of her generation. In a matter of years, the name Braxton became synonymous with excellence, class, and chart-topping success. Toni's star power was so immense that it had the potential to lift her entire family into the spotlight. Enter Tamar Braxton, the younger sister who always had the talent but yearned to be recognized on her own terms. Tamar's bold personality, modern style, and dynamic energy added a new layer to the Braxton brand. She brought in younger fans, injected fresh ideas, and offered a sharp contrast to Toni's more classic R&B persona. Sensing they could capitalize on their shared talents, the Braxtons ventured beyond music. They dived into reality TV, merch lines, endorsements, and potential business expansions. The Braxton name started to represent a family empire, one that, from the outside, looked unbreakable. But as more contracts, royalties, and legal clauses piled on, the family synergy began showing subtle cracks. For years, the Braxtons maintained a public facade of unconditional support. They appeared at events together, offered each other praise during interviews, and teased fans with dreams of joint albums or special performances. Behind closed doors, though, money talks, and each sister wanted to ensure she got her due. As deals got bigger, spanning television productions, merchandising rights, and even rumored real estate projects, the once tight family bond was tested by endless legal documents. Each new venture spelled out revenue splits, creative control, and final approval channels. Toni, as the established star, often secured top billing. Tamar felt overshadowed, especially when she saw how Toni's presence influenced bigger paychecks and more media coverage. Tamar's frustration wasn't just about money, it was also about creative freedom. She believed her fresh perspective could keep the brand relevant for newer generations. But every time she pushed a modern approach, she ran into Toni's, and by extension, the brand's more traditional standards. This tension simmered for years, waiting for a spark to light the fuse. That spark finally came when Tamar Braxton allegedly renegotiated a key contract without Toni's, or the family's, knowledge. In doing so, she secured higher royalty percentages and more decision-making authority. It was a direct challenge to Toni's long-standing control over the brand. Once word of this renegotiation leaked, it set off a chain reaction that threatened the entire empire. Toni felt blindsided. She'd always viewed herself as the rightful custodian of the Braxton name. After all, she built it through her decades of success. If Tamar could quietly grab more shares, what was stopping other sisters from doing the same? Suddenly, trust eroded. Legal teams pored over existing agreements, hunting for loopholes Tamar might exploit or new ways to rein her in. Fans quickly divided into #Team Toni and #Team Tamar. One group argued that Tamar had every right to break free from Toni's shadow if she was being undervalued, while others insisted that Toni's legacy justified her position as head of the empire. Social media lit up with debates, memes, and hot takes, fueling the saga's momentum. With potential millions at stake, lawyers on both sides began a thorough review of every Braxton-related contract. These ranged from performance deals for concerts and live appearances, reality show agreements dictating profit splits and creative input, merchandising and brand endorsement documents, even rumored property investment deals. The deeper they dug, the more they realized how deeply intertwined and potentially flawed the entire Braxton empire was. Any single breach of these contracts could cripple the brand's ability to negotiate future deals. One of the biggest points of contention? Non-compete clauses. Toni's team argued that Tamar couldn't sign deals that directly competed with family brand ventures, especially if they used or referenced the Braxton name. Tamar's team countered that she hadn't forfeited her right to personal career moves. The creative control debate was just as fierce. Who had the final say on how the Braxton brand was presented to the world? This fundamental question remains at the heart of the conflict. As soon as the possibility of major lawsuits loomed, sponsors and industry partners grew hesitant. Why invest in a brand that might implode if the family can't settle its differences? Several rumored projects, ranging from new music collaborations to a long-anticipated Braxton entertainment hub, were quietly put on ice. In the entertainment business, uncertainty is death, and uncertainty was quickly becoming the Braxtons' calling card. Many fans wonder, is this really about money? In showbiz, money often represents more than just paychecks. It's a metric of respect, stature, and creative influence. For Tamar, being undervalued financially symbolized a deeper issue, that her contributions weren't seen as equal. For Toni, defending her bigger share was about honoring the decades of hard work that made the family name bankable in the first place. Control over the brand's narrative, who leads, who follows, and how decisions get made, matters immensely. Toni's name recognition opened doors, but Tamar argued her modern flair kept the brand relevant in a rapidly changing entertainment landscape. Each sister wanted the driver's seat, believing she had the vision to steer the Braxtons to further success. That collision of visions is the fuel feeding these flames. Finally, influence involves public perception and social capital. In an age where social media can make or break reputations, having the public's backing can tip the scales in business negotiations. Tamar's outspoken nature resonates with a younger audience, but Toni's established legacy commands an older, loyal fan base, and that older demographic often holds financial clout. The tug-of-war over hearts and minds is as significant as any revenue split. When business agreements fracture family ties, everything gets personal. Conversations that used to be about birthday celebrations or holiday gatherings now revolve around lawyers, contract breaches, and unpaid royalties. Some in the Braxton family might remain neutral publicly, but behind the scenes, alliances form and trust decays. Imagine the emotional toll. Your sister isn't just your sibling anymore. She's also a business adversary. The press, social media, and fans are all dissecting every stray quote, every backstage rumor. For celebrities like the Braxtons, constant scrutiny can amp up the pressure. Sources close to the family hint at anxiety, sleepless nights, and a feeling that the entire brand could crumble with a single legal misstep. This isn't a trivial disagreement. It's a perpetual public spectacle. Beyond Toni and Tamar, there are other Braxton siblings caught in the crossfire. Each stands to lose projects, endorsements, or royalties if the brand disintegrates. Their personal relationships may also suffer. Siding with Tamar could alienate Toni's supporters, or vice versa. Some might see no solution except to sit on the fence, which leaves them effectively powerless. watching from the sidelines as the brand they helped build threatens to go up in flames. One lesser-known tension point: charitable events organized under the Braxton banner. Toni, known for philanthropic efforts, often spearheaded these gatherings. Tamar felt her input on which charities to support was ignored. This seeded resentments about who truly controlled how the family presented itself to the public. At one point, a line of products featured both Toni and Tamar on the packaging. However, when the product sold like hotcakes, Toni reportedly got a significantly larger share of the profits. Tamar saw this as yet another example of how Toni's historical star status automatically grants her bigger rewards, regardless of how much Tamar contributed to sales. There was talk of a spin-off focusing on Tamar's journey, with Toni appearing occasionally. Tamar saw it as a chance to showcase her evolution. Toni, however, wanted editorial control to avoid negative portrayals that might hurt the family brand. Disagreements on creative direction and contract terms derailed the project, breeding more animosity between them. Rumor had it the Braxton family once considered opening a performance venue under their name. Tamar wanted it to cater to modern acts and younger audiences. Toni wanted a more traditional, upscale environment reflecting her R&B roots. Clashing visions halted the venture, with each side blaming the other for inflexibility and lost income. Even daily family life changed. Phone calls shortened, texts went unanswered, and simple get-togethers became tense. Money negotiations overshadowed any sense of familial warmth. Each revelation, like Tamar's secret renegotiation or Toni's protective legal clauses, added layers of mistrust. Online platforms exploded with hashtags like #TeamToni and #TeamTamar. Tamar's supporters call her a trailblazer forging her own path after years of overshadowing. Toni's fans see Tamar's actions as disrespectful, claiming that without Toni's initial success, Tamar wouldn't have a platform. The fan warfare only intensifies media coverage and pushes the sisters further apart. Entertainment news outlets pounce on every morsel of information, from rumored contract leaks to alleged arguments at private family dinners. Talk shows invite pundits to speculate on who's right and who's wrong, often with minimal facts. The result is a 24/7 rumor mill that fosters misinterpretations and occasionally fans the flames of conflict. Celebrity brand managers note that every negative headline chips away at the brand's public trust. Even if Toni and Tamar reconcile, potential partners might worry about future blowups. The family name, once an asset guaranteeing strong fan support, risks becoming a liability. That's the real financial consequence. If brand reputation tanks, no new deals will come knocking. Whispers suggest that Toni might cut Tamar off from specific family deals altogether, or at least freeze her out until she concedes to certain demands, like a lower royalty percentage or a reaffirmed loyalty clause. If Toni follows through, the brand might continue without Tamar, but it risks losing the younger demographic Tamar brings to the table. Rumor has it Tamar is also exploring solo reality shows, talk show gigs, or brand partnerships that exclude her siblings entirely. If she cements these deals, it could further fracture the family synergy. Some sponsors who once loved the Braxton family unity might pivot to backing Tamar alone if the market responds well. Fans keep asking, will we ever see another Braxton family album, joint concert, or reality show featuring all the sisters? Right now, the tension is so high that even neutral projects seem off the table. We might be witnessing the final days of a once glorious collaboration, unless a miracle unfolds. Are you #Team Tamar, cheering on her bold move for independence? Or do you stand with #Team Toni, believing she's defending the empire she built? If this breakdown gave you fresh insights, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next explosive update. Know someone addicted to celebrity feuds? Send them this link. Let them weigh in on the Braxton meltdown. We'll keep monitoring every contract twist and public statement from both camps. Expect more revelations, more drama, and maybe, just maybe, a sign of reconciliation. Toni and Tamar go their separate ways for good. Tamar finalizes her solo deals. Toni continues the brand with other family members or on her own. The brand's synergy might vanish, but both could maintain successful careers independently, at least in the short term. Under pressure from sponsors and other Braxton sisters, Toni and Tamar might hash out a truce, each conceding certain rights. This scenario gives fans a glimmer of hope for joint appearances or projects. However, the trust damage might remain, making future conflicts almost inevitable. A long shot, but if both sides realize that tearing each other down only diminishes the Braxton legacy, they could stage a heartfelt reunion. We might get a new album, a renewed family TV show, or a global tour. While fans crave this scenario, the personal and financial wounds run deep, making it difficult to envision a truly harmonious comeback. The Braxtons exemplify how family-run enterprises can amplify personal tensions. Instead of hashing out differences privately, they become entangled in contractual obligations. Love and loyalty get overshadowed by bottom lines and brand strategies. Had Tamar and Toni addressed their issues, especially around creative control and profit splits, early on, the feud might never have reached these levels. Clear communication, aided by transparent contracts, can save a lot of heartache. The Braxton story resonates beyond Hollywood. Many small businesses or family ventures face similar dilemmas. One partner invests sweat equity while another invests capital, or one member feels overshadowed by a more famous relative. The takeaway is the same: fair negotiation and mutual respect matter, or everything can crumble. Sources suggest both Toni and Tamar have quietly pursued overlapping endorsements, like beauty lines or fashion collaborations, that conflict with each other. Each deal stirs further tension, as sponsors demand exclusivity, pitting sister against sister in the marketplace. Reality show confessionals, where each sister shares her thoughts on camera, have historically been a breeding ground for public spats. If the family signs another show in the midst of this feud, expect these confessionals to become an ammunition factory, each sister using her camera time to voice grievances. Tawanda, Trina, Tracy, rest in peace, or any sister outside of Toni and Tamar can inadvertently serve as swing votes. Their alliances could tip negotiations or further complicate them. Their public statements, if they choose to make any, might shape fan perspectives and influence sponsor trust. Team Toni's argument: she built the brand with her sweat, tears, and iconic vocals. Most deals come knocking because Toni Braxton is a household name. Tamar's renegotiations undermine the unity that keeps the brand strong. Team Tamar's argument: Tamar's modern style rejuvenated the brand, attracting younger fans and new revenue streams. She's been overshadowed too long by Toni's legacy and deserves autonomy. If the brand won't value her equally, she's justified in forging her own path. Some might argue that both are right, just viewing the situation from different angles. Toni wants to protect what she built. Tamar wants to evolve beyond the established mold. Without a willingness to compromise, the chance for a middle ground diminishes daily. Toni's entire career is a testament to resilience and artistry. To see that overshadowed or challenged by a younger sister might sting. Meanwhile, Tamar's attempts to cultivate her own audience represent the next generation of Braxton success. It's a clash of vantage points, each anchored by personal pride. Toni perceives Tamar's secret contract renegotiation as a stab in the back, a move that disregarded family unity. Tamar sees it as self-defense, a necessary action to claim what she's owed. With both mindsets rooted in self-preservation, reconciliation becomes a tall order. Add in the relentless glare of cameras, social media speculation, and the knowledge that fans hang on their every word. This ongoing conflict is more than a private fight. It's a public performance where each sister tries to manage her image even while feeling deeply hurt or threatened. For entertainment news, family feuds equals major clicks. Headlines often oversimplify or sensationalize events, fueling animosity between the sisters. For example, Tamar Braxton backstabs Toni, family brand in flames, might get eyeballs but doesn't capture the complexity. Some outlets show favoritism. Certain talk show hosts might side with Toni, praising her legacy, while others champion Tamar's push for independence. Each snippet feeds into fan biases, making the feud more combustible. True details often get lost in the noise. Contract specifics, timeline clarifications, and direct quotes from legal representatives remain buried beneath rumors. For viewers, it becomes an exercise in critical thinking, separating verified facts from spin or speculation. Sources differ on whether Toni and Tamar are still in direct communication. Some say they've set up a handful of private meetings or had phone calls to find common ground. Others insist everything goes through lawyers. Until real compromise surfaces, we're left with rumors and tension. In the midst of the chaos, multiple rumored collaborations remain on hold. Producers, sponsors, and network executives typically demand clarity, something the Braxtons can't currently provide. If the feud lingers, bigger deals might vanish, further diminishing the brand's overall worth. Neither Toni nor Tamar has shown signs of full retreat. Each maintains that her perspective is valid and that she's defending not just her career, but also the real Braxton legacy. Whether that stance softens in the face of potential financial losses remains to be seen. History shows that celebrity families sometimes find ways to reunite for the sake of future earnings or brand preservation. A lucrative record deal or a high-paying reality show contract might incentivize them to put differences aside, at least publicly. If the sisters can't agree amicably, civil court might become the battlefield. Judges could interpret existing contracts to rule on usage rights, profit shares, and brand ownership. A legal resolution, while final, often leaves lingering bitterness that can stifle any warm family relations. In the event Toni and Tamar truly separate, each could continue building her personal empire. Toni might leverage her classic R&B legacy, while Tamar pursues a more modern, influencer-driven audience. Success is possible for both, though fans might always yearn for the synergy they once had together. You've journeyed through decades of family ambition, seismic achievements, and the painful unraveling of trust. Is the Braxton brand beyond repair, or can Toni and Tamar defy the odds for a second act? Here's what we know. Money alone won't fix severed bonds. Mutual respect and transparent contracts might. Public opinion is divided, but it's also fickle. A major reconciliation could flip the narrative overnight. Time is ticking, and each side's willingness to stand firm might cost the family brand more than they realize. As watchers of this unfolding drama, we might never learn every hidden detail, but we can observe how a once unified empire wrestles with ego, power, and the pursuit of autonomy. The Braxton saga is a stark reminder that even the most glamorous family can crack under pressure when big money and bigger ambitions collide. If you know someone who can't get enough behind-the-scenes celebrity drama, pass this along. They deserve the full scoop on the Braxton meltdown. Are you still rooting for a family resolution, or do you think it's best if Toni and Tamar go their separate ways? Drop your thoughts below. We'll be tracking every twist in this story, from legal breakthroughs to last-minute deals, and you won't want to miss it. Thank you for joining this in-depth look at Tamar Braxton's latest moves and Toni Braxton's reaction. This saga proves that while success can be sweet, it also sets the stage for spectacular downfalls. Stay tuned, because if there's one certainty here, it's that we haven't seen the final chapter. Money, power, influence, and a family name are all on the line, and nobody's blinking yet.